You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey, and on today's show, I'll be answering your questions for Fanmail Friday. And we will briefly talk about other stuff going on in baseball because there are some interesting things happening. It's been a week. It's been quite a week. So let's get into Fanmail Friday. As always, Fanmail Friday, you can ask questions on YouTube by leaving your questions underneath the pinned comment on our videos, or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a 14-day free trial. You can text me, I can text you, and you can ask me questions for Fanmail Friday. And the first few questions of this episode are from our insider, so let's get started with Bruce. Hey, Stacey, hope all is well. I'm a throwback to Eminem Boys, etc. I'm discouraged to hear all about so many ailments to pitchers from all teams. I'd like to hear a discussion with some medical people why this is happening. Now all we hear are about bad elbows and shoulders. Is it too much off-season workout? Is it increased velocity? I can remember when 92 to 95 was a good fastball. Now you have to throw over 100 to be considered to have a good fastball. The hot stove has turned into the bad arm. This is no fun anymore. Thank you for the questions, Bruce. I don't really know any medical professionals other than doctors that I've seen, but I don't think they're experts on elbows. But I think that yes, could be off-season workouts, could be, no, it is the increased velocity. That has to have something to do with it. I've spoken about this a few times on the show that I feel like the number of injuries have gone up because of how hard these guys are throwing, because it's almost as if throwing 95 is odd now. Oh, he's only throwing 95. We're getting to that point now where 95 seems like a slow fastball, and it's not. But there's so many guys who are throwing near 100 with regularity. It's scary. And it's not just, fireballer relievers. It's actual starters who are throwing that hard. Cole hits 99 every once in a while, 98, 97. It's crazy. So I think it's a combination of maybe working out too much in the offseason, but also the human arm isn't supposed to throw a ball as hard as these guys throw. And now you're seeing guys hitting 102 and 103 with regularity. So it's possible you might see more injuries. Plus, it may also be these guys are really starting to play baseball early. And not only that, there's a lot of year-round baseball now. And so there's a lot of wear and tear on the arm before they even make it to the majors. Not that they're throwing 95 when they're 10, 11, 12 years old, but they're still doing stuff all year round now. It's not just Little League in that small window of time during a year. So there's a lot of stuff factoring into this, but thank you for that first question. Speaking of pitching injuries and elbows, Kike, another insider. If Cole's injury lasts longer than they tell us, or someone else gets injured outside of the big names, which starting pitchers do you think we could acquire for cheap, if not a free agent? Which prospect is most MLB ready? Who's available? Who's left? Jordan Montgomery's left. We have a Jordan Montgomery question later. I'll answer that. But, and we're going to talk about Michael Lorenzen later on in the show because he signed a contract and didn't get what he wanted, but he signed a contract. But no, honestly, who's left? I don't think anyone's really left. There's no big names left, and there's no one really to trade for anymore either, because the one guy that we probably all thought that the Yankees would be able to trade for, Dylan Cease, was traded. So I don't know. Prospect-wise, I feel like there are guys on the cusp, but they're not ready yet. They might be ready closer to August, when guys come up, like Beater, Warren, like those guys. But I don't know who they could acquire. And let's just hope, everyone knock on wood right now, do it, that Cole's injury doesn't last longer and that he's fine and everyone else is fine. Thank you for your question, Kike. Actually, Kike asked 2 questions, but I'm only going to use this question because someone else asked a similar question to his first question. So thank you again. This one is from insider Aaron L. I saw Jeff Passan's tweet about how he had an experience with a taxi driver in Seoul a few years back who didn't speak much English but loved baseball and communicated like that. It reminded me of one of the reasons I love the sport so much. Do you have a moment like that where baseball helped you bridge a gap or connect with someone? Yes, I can say I do. I went to school in upstate New York in Oswego, State University of New York at Oswego. Now it's a university. It used to be college at Oswego. And we had a foreign exchange student named Shiro Morita next door to us. And we got along and we hung out and stuff. But after college, he knew that I had Yankee season tickets and he loved Hideki Matsui. I mean, who didn't in Japan? And he was going to be in Philadelphia for grad school and for like a semester. And he happened to be still in the States in June of 2003. So he came up to Yankee Stadium when Matsui first joined the Yankees. I took him to a Yankee Mets game on Sunday night, and he had never been to Yankee Stadium. He was getting to see Hideki Matsui in Yankee Stadium. And he walked in through the tunnel. I had seats in the upper deck right above first base. Those were my every Sunday seat. And to see his face just light up, as he walked into old Yankee Stadium, his face looked like what mine looked like when I went to the Grand Canyon 25 years ago. Similar face where you're speechless for like 5 minutes. You're just looking around like, wow. And I felt like we bonded through that. I mean, we were friendly and friends before that, but the baseball thing really brought us together. And the Yankees won. Matsui hit a home run for him. It was a really fun night for everyone involved. And, it's always fun to see Yankees Mets on a Sunday night ESPN game. So yeah, there's one example, I think. And thank you for the question, Aaron. Next up, tried and true, Betty, insider. Do you think there's a chance that Jordan Montgomery could still come back to the Yankees? Now, I will confess, right before I started recording this, I'm recording this Thursday night. It's now 8:46 p.m. I checked Twitter to make sure that nothing was going on because after I finished yesterday's episode and edited it, I saw John Heyman's tweet about how the Yankees and Jordan Montgomery were speaking, and I thought, this always happens. This always happens to me. I have the worst timing ever. Is there a chance? Yes. Is there a high chance? I don't know, but he might be desperate to play, and he might be desperate to accept something less than what he's asking for, and the Yankees just might be like, hey, you want to come back? Here, come back. We'll give you something. We can't give you everything you want, but we'll give you something. I would put it at 38.9% of a chance that Jordan Montgomery could come back to the Yankees. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Now, these two questions are very similar, so I put them together. Insider Ruben asked, will Oswaldo Cabrera be the opening day third baseman? Who will be his backup? And JD, another insider, asked, who do you think they will put at third? Cabrera, Peraza, question marks. Now, Peraza is not going to be playing anything because he can't throw for the next almost 2 months. So I'm thinking Cabrera. I don't know who the backup would be. I know DJ was doing some drills today, but nothing in the infield. He was just kind of like walking around and jogging in the outfield because his foot is still bothering him. He has a week for it to feel better, but I think more than likely it would be Oswaldo Cabrera. I mean, what else can the Yankees do? I mean, they have some infielders in the minors to back him up if they need them, but I feel like it's got to be Oswaldo. Who else would it be? So thank you both for the very similar question. Actually, there were 3 or 4 questions about third base, and I figured I'd put those two together. So coming up in segment 2, answering more of your questions. But before that, don't forget to reply to the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday. Again, I will get better at putting the pinned comment up. I forgot to do it on at least one of the videos. I apologize. So if you want your questions answered for Fanmail Friday, You can do that, or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description. You'll get texts from me. You can text me questions. There's a 14-day free trial. And hey, if you want to give me show ideas, feel free. If you have something you want me to talk about leading up to opening day, join the Insiders Club and let me know. I'm open to almost anything. So again, coming up next, answering more of your questions. Locked On Yankees is brought to you by Ibotta. Look, all of us can use extra money in our pockets, and that's where Ibotta comes in. Ibotta is a free app that gives you the most cash back every time you shop on hundreds of items, from groceries to beauty supplies to toys. So you can make sure you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. The average Ibotta user earns $145 per year. That could cover the cost of an entire shopping trip. Buy that flight you've been eyeing, that game you've been dying to go to, or a fancy dinner you've been craving. Join over 50 million savers and earn cash back every time you shop from over 2,700 brands and retailers, including Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and more. Right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 just for trying out Ibotta using the code LOCKEDONMLB when you register. So go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash back and use code LOCKEDONMLB. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store and use code LOCKEDONMLB. And Locked On Yankees is brought to you by FanDuel. Say goodbye to busted brackets because FanDuel lets you bet on every game of the tournament. Whether you're betting on a big upset or a one seed, it's time to go dancing on America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 wins. That's awesome. That's $200 to use on point spreads, money lines, and you can even pick who's going to win it all. You can bet on the men's tournament and the women's tournament. On the men's side, I almost did it again like I did yesterday. On the men's side, Connecticut is leading the pack at plus 380 to win it all, with Houston, Purdue, Arizona, and Auburn rounding out the top 5. And in the women's tournament, South Carolina is at minus 145 to win it all, with Iowa, LSU, Connecticut, and Stanford rounding out their top 5 in that order. So visit fanduel.com/lockedon and bet on college hoops until they cut down the nets. Welcome back to Locked On Yankees. Are you watching Fox News or ESPN on your TV all day? Do you have to turn down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire Channels app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Okay, we are up to YouTube questions. Okay. NYY Hulkamaniacs. If the Yankees hired you as one of the coaches, what spot would you pick? Manager or hitting coach, pitching coach? Okay. I don't know if I want to be the manager, because the manager is to answer all the questions. You know, the hitting coach doesn't have to answer questions. The pitching coach doesn't really have to answer questions. It's not like they have easy jobs, but they don't have to stand in front of the media and answer, why did this happen? Why'd you do this? Did you realize when you did this, it was going to, he was going to lose the game? Did you know that, all the things that we get mad about with Aaron Boone, you'd have to sit there and take that? No, I think I'd want to be the hitting coach. I think out of all of those guys, he's the least bothered by everyone. Although he's the first one to get blamed for all the problems. That's tough. I still say hitting coach. Thank you for the question. Robbie Garnes 732. Hey, Stacey, crazy question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. I'm shocked that Snell just signed with the Giants for just 2 years for a total value of $63 million. But didn't Snell turn down an offer from us for 5 years at a similar AAV? At least that's what was out there. But now, according to the Michael K show, no one could confirm that this offer was even made. Why can't they confirm or deny this information? And if there was an offer, why do you think Snell balked at it? No pun intended, LOL. Anyway, this whole thing is so convoluted. Can you please try to help me sort through this cognitive dissonance? Dissonance, that's the word. LOL. Robbie, I don't know because it is, Steve and I spoke about this before, you know, during last month when Snell was still unsigned, that it was odd that the only news was that the Yankees made him an offer and no one else had made him an offer all winter. And I found that very odd. And now that people are saying, well, no, that's not what happened. But then I also saw something that said, they didn't come back after the initial offer. Like they didn't decide to come back after that initial. I heard it was 6 years, 150. So I don't know. I mean, good for him. Good for the Giants, I guess. And it's better maybe it's better for the Yankees that he's in the NL West again, like he was with the Padres. But yeah, I don't know. It's just really strange that it took him this long to get signed. He's the reigning Cy Young Award winner. And I know the walks and all that other stuff, and it's questionable, but I don't know. But thank you for your question. I'm not sure I answered it, but thank you for the question. Okay, next is Max at Expat PS5YK. Okay. Stacey, your podcast is great. I have a question or comment and a question. I was blind and listened to John and Susan for my Yankees. When I got my sight back, I was disappointed hearing the TV guys call the game. It sounds more like them auditioning for a future job. Anyway, last night I found a fix. Put MLB on whatever device you watch the Yankees on and turn the volume off. Put MLB on your phone and listen to the radio audio through it, or better yet, some Bluetooth headphones. A side benefit is that you can go to the kitchen, get a beer, or use the bathroom and leave a beer without missing a play. Now the question, I'm going to start scoring the games with a scorebook again. I enjoy it and it adds to the game. So do fans in other leagues around the world score games in books too? Thank you for your time and feel free to edit this letter should you use it. Keep up the good work. Gus would be proud of you. Go Yankees. Do you know my father? Thank you. I'm not sure if people who watch other sports score. I used to keep score when my dad was a little league coach. I would help him out, with my brother's teams and with other teams that he had. And then I didn't do scoring for a really long time. And then I went to a Mets game in 2012 and I scored for the first time. I screwed it up though. I put the away team in the home team part. And so I messed it up right away. But I even brought the score book with me into the ladies' room and started writing things because they played the radio. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think they do. I feel like that's just a baseball thing. I feel like that's a baseball thing. And sometimes I do that with the games where I'll put the radio feed on while I'm watching. I have to put it on our device, but we also have to kind of time it because the radio feed is always like a minute and a half behind the TV. So yeah, we sometimes do that too. But thank you for your question. And Teacher Sama, I believe this is our last question. Yes, it's our last question of the week. Hello again, Stace. Hello again, Teacher Sama. You talked about Luis Heel versus Weaver for the 5th spot in the rotation. My pick is Heel. What's yours? I think Luke Weaver. Just, I don't know, maybe the experience, but I feel like Luke Weaver. I feel like they can have Heel in AAA, get him some outings, get him warmed up, and then if something happens, actually, I should have mentioned him as someone who could come up with the Cole question. It's Friday. It's been a long week. But anyway, I feel like Weaver probably will edge Heel out in that, but I feel like Heel has a chance to make an impact on the team. Probably, I would say there's like a 99% chance that he has the leg up on, yeah, he does, on Warren and Beater. So it would be Heel, Warren, Beater, probably in that order coming up if something happened to someone else. So I feel like Weaver will get it. Heel will come up in time. Thank you for the question. And thank everyone for the questions. I really appreciate it. You make my life easier with your questions. And, if you haven't asked a question, feel free. And, it could be baseball related or baseball adjacent, doesn't have to be about the Yankees, could be baseball in general. So yeah, leave them under the pinned comment Monday through Thursday or join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description. And coming up next, some odds, very odd, and ends from around baseball. Fire TV is your destination for sports. From live games to highlights to in-depth analysis, Fire TV offers amazing viewer experiences with smart TVs, as well as the Fire TV stick that you can plug into your existing TV that provides access to millions of movies and TV episodes, as well as free and live TV. Whether it's opening weekend for baseball or the college basketball tournaments, you're going to want to have a Fire TV. Fire TV recently created Fire TV channels to deliver a constant supply of the latest videos from your favorite sports brands, all for free. That includes all of us at Locked On and most of the pro leagues and college conferences as well. Fire TV channels let you dive into all the game analysis, highlights, and more to keep up to date on all the latest in the world of sports. March Madness, NBA, MLB, and lots more. Not to mention great news, entertainment, gaming, travel, and cooking videos as well. Check out Fire TV channels on Fire TV and Alexa devices. If you haven't checked out Fire TV channels, you should. Trust me on this. To learn more, visit amazon.com/lockedonfiretv. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. And now that the NCAA tournament has started, you'll get to see a lot of school shows happening too. Be sure to check out the feed, which will feature team previews from all those schools involved in the tournaments. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the free Fire TV channels app. The Seoul Series, let's talk about it. The Padres struck back in game 2. And when I turned on the game, it was 9-2. Okay. And it's funny because when I turned the game on Wednesday morning, the Padres were winning 2-1, and then the Dodgers went ahead and ended up winning the game. And I thought, ooh, maybe I shouldn't have put the game on. So then on Thursday, I wake up around 8:15, and it's 9-2. And before I knew it, it was 9-6 Padres, and the Dodgers were storming back. And I thought, oh, is this my fault? I hope this isn't my fault. It wasn't. It's just the Dodgers are relentless. Now, the Padres ended up winning, I believe it was 15-11. But the Dodgers offense is frightening. Like, honestly, the whole lineup 1 through 9 can do damage, and they like to do it in bunches and, not like home run after home run, but single after single after single and a double thrown in. And yeah, they're going to be scary. They're going to be really scary. Again, they really nearly came back in that game. That was it was crazy. The Padres, luckily for them, because my God, if the Dodgers had come back and won that game after coming back and winning the first game, I mean, a 2-1 deficit in the 7th inning isn't as crazy to lose, compared to a 9-2 lead in, what was it, the 4th inning? Something like that. 3rd or 4th inning. They scored early and often. Yamamoto was batted around. Not a good debut for him. And yeah, I mean, the people in the crowd look like they were having a really fun time. And I like when they have, the crowd shots and just people going crazy during the game. And it was just really cool to see everyone in their Padres and Dodgers gear in Korea. And it was also kind of funny to watch Eduardo Perez and Carl Ravage eating stuff in the booth that they were giving them. That's always fun. In other news, Michael Lorenzen signed with Texas 1 year, $4.5 million. Guess he didn't hold out on that second year. He's probably like, all right, I got to play. Just give me money and I'll play. Speaking of $4.5 million. Okay, so this story is insane. I'm just going to say it. It's insane. I still don't understand what the heck is happening, and I don't think anyone really understands what's happening because this story is fluid. It keeps changing. Okay, so this has to do with Shohei Ohtani, his interpreter, $4.5 million either being stolen or Ohtani helping him pay back $4.5 million because apparently the interpreter was so deep in a debt of betting that he was down $4.5 million. I couldn't even imagine betting $45. $4.5 million. That's a lot of money. But the story keeps changing because one story made it seem like this dude stole from Ohtani. Then there are other stories saying that Ohtani was helping him pay back the debt. Then they're saying there might not be an investigation. There should be an investigation. That the $4.5 million is a lot of money. And I think you should find out what's going on with that money and who took it from who. Did Shohei Ohtani actually give it to this guy? Did the guy take it from him and forge his name? Like, what is going on? That seems like a pretty big deal to me. But as I said, the story is really fluid and it keeps changing. And, right now at 9:07 p.m. on Thursday night, it just, I don't know. Oh, and speaking of that, let's just check, make sure that Jordan Montgomery wasn't signed by the Yankees while I was recording because you never know. I would never stop laughing if that happened. Oh my God. I just thought I saw a tweet that said, because I saw Brian Cashman's face, but no, it's just an article from the Post. Yankees should see what it will take to bring back Jordan Montgomery. It couldn't hurt. It really couldn't hurt. Yeah. All right. So no Jordan Montgomery as I'm recording this. It'll probably happen while I'm editing it. Anyway, so one more time before we end this week, don't forget to join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description below and a 14-day free trial. You get texts from me. You can text me questions for Fanmail Friday, or you could just text me if you feel like it. If something happens in a game and you want to, vent, feel free. And next week, opening day. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. We'll be talking about that. We'll be previewing everything leading up to opening day. We'll be recapping the games in Mexico as well, because that's happening. It's all happening. We're here, guys. It's, March, as I'm recording this, it's March 21st. It's basically almost April. We're almost there. We made it. Hallelujah. So that's going to do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you on Monday.